What's up, Amazon sellers? Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Natalie Cromie, and she is a long-time Amazon seller, content creator, and involved in all things Amazon. And my God, I'm super excited to have her today. Why? Because we get to learn all about Q4, what it is, why we should care, and she's going to share her 5 top tips that are really going to help you smash Q4 today. So, for me and everyone watching, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us today. Can I just ask, first things first, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little about who you are and obviously your journey so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, Tom, thanks so much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. And we're going to talk about Q4, everything going on, preparing for that. But just a little bit about me, first of all. So I've been selling on Amazon now I struggle to remember, it's 5 or 6 years. It feels like an eternity at the moment, but certainly I think this is coming into our 6th Q4. And, during that time, we've sold a variety of the different, selling models. We've sold wholesale. We sold retail and online arbitrage. We sell my own type of private label, which is unique bundles. And now this year we've moved into selling private label in the US as well. So that keeps me pretty busy on the selling side of things. As well as that, some people might know me from the Secret Wealth Project Facebook group, where I deliver content and keep people updated about all the latest Amazon shenanigans and goings on and things like that. And so I've been doing that now for the past couple of years. And like I said, everything that we do now is predominantly some sort of Amazon focused or Amazon connected in some sort of way. But like we were saying, it keeps me out of trouble, keeps me busy for sure.
My God, we were saying like before off air, obviously all the amount of the different things that you're doing, and obviously you've got a family as well, so just much.
Probably should have mentioned them.
And obviously so much in the space, and obviously a lot of experience. So for me, I think it's really nice for you to be able to join me today to just talk about this. And I've been doing Amazon now for 4 years, and you've been doing it for like 5-6 years, but also multiple platforms, different marketplaces. So massive wealth of experience. So I think my first question to you is everyone talks about Q4, but what is Q4? Can you just define that? What is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something that it's really important to clarify, because when you come into these Facebook communities and YouTube channels and different Amazon related groups, you see everybody talking about Q4, and it's really hard to understand if you've not experienced yourself. We've all been there. We've all been on the other side of it where, we were the newbie in Q4. But sometimes Q4 in itself can be a slightly misrepresented term, because Q4 represents the last quarter in the year. It starts on the 1st of October and it ends at the 31st of December. So it's that last quarter in the year. But traditionally what we see, particularly being Amazon sellers and depending on what you're selling, is I think some people have the misrepresentation. They're saying, oh, Q4's massive. You can 8-fold your sales. You can do this and you can do that. So when it turns from sort of midnight on the 30th of September, if it's your first Q4, you might be expecting, if you're selling £100 a day, well, from tomorrow I'm going to be selling £800 a day. But it doesn't work like that. It's a kind of gradual build up during October, going into November. And then we hit this period of time, probably, and I don't know if you agree with this, but probably around mid-November, couple of weekends maybe for whenever Black Friday falls within the month. And then from that period of time, after the gradual build up, you should start seeing gains month on month. Then it goes nuts. It goes absolutely crazy. And that's the period of time, probably the last 4 to 6 weeks between mid-November and running up to, sort of Christmas Day, Christmas week, whenever it falls within that time. That's the period of time that essentially Amazon sellers are talking about, where it can go crazy and everyone loses their mind.
So you kind of talked about it there. If anyone is like, okay, Q4, I'm hearing a lot about it. You've talked about, obviously it is the quarter, but there's a certain part of it which is important. you kind of talked about like, people saying like 8-fold increase. Why should people care about Q4? Like, oh my God, like there's another 3 quarters in the year. Like, why should people care about Q4?
Well, I think Q4 is a really great platform to be able to take your business to the next level. You can use it to make that important step up in your business. In Amazon, we talk about consistency. It's all about, creating consistency, replenishable products, doing everything regularly, feeding the beast, if anyone's heard of that term of, sending things in. But sometimes it can be really difficult to grow the business. Once you get to a certain level, you have to make changes, you have to add different things into the business. And I think sometimes what Q4 does, because of that really big natural uplift in sales, it can really propel people to the next level. It can kind of ratchet up. So what you can do is you can really establish a good rhythm of selling during that period of time. Things tend to sell quicker, which means that you can flip your money more times in that period of time. It creates more turnover, which in turn hopefully creates more profit for your business. And then you can come out of Q4 with a really good foundation to be able to go into the next year and then rinse and repeat that process again.
Completely agree. I'm a big believer. It's that challenge which creates opportunity, and it's the opportunity which you can then obviously take advantage of. And if you're able to adapt and change, my God, it's an amazing opportunity to take advantage of. So definitely, thank you. So you talked about it earlier, but I'd like to just come back. When is Q4? What are the dates? But also, what are the dates that people really need to be aware of? Because I understand that the real Q4 and the actual Q4 in regards to how we talk about in Amazon selling are 2 different things. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, do you know what? And this is something you only learn through experience as well. And you think, you wouldn't even think about this, but the dates fall really nicely for Amazon sellers this year. So it works out really, really well. Sometimes the dates don't work out as well as they can do. So what do I mean by that? So the important dates to be aware of, like I said, when you really want to make sure that you've got the bulk of that seasonal stock, if seasonal stock is what you're going to be focusing on, is definitely by around mid-November. But there's no cutoff. And again, I think that's a little bit of a misconception that some people think. One of the most common questions I get asked when relating to Q4, when's the last date that I can send stuff in? And it's a bit like, oh, does Amazon close? I don't think it does. You can always send stuff in. There is no end date. Yes, there's a period of time where demand falls off, of course, and that natural time when it falls off is approaching up to and when the last posting dates are in Christmas. But the big dates to look out for, I personally think, again, most people think, oh, okay, records are broken in December. But I think November traditionally is a phenomenal month for a lot of people because Black Friday weekend falls within that, which is always the last Thursday of the month in November. Last Friday. I will say Thursday because it's the Friday after Thanksgiving, which is the 4th Thursday in the month. So, and then that proceeds into Cyber Monday, which is the Monday that follows Black Friday. And that weekend, traditionally, I think is the big record breaker for a lot of people. That's when people see crazy figures, crazy sales. People's stock levels get rinsed during that period of time. So it's important to keep stock flowing. So don't think, I'll stock up and do nothing up until that period of time, because if that happens, you could be left in a position where you have nothing to capitalize on for the next, what could be 2 to 3 weeks of craziness after that. So continue to send in, continue to source, continue to keep those products pushing into Amazon. And traditionally by then, shipping times tend to come down and get a bit faster because you don't tend to really see people shipping in big private label shipments during that period of time. That's happening now. People are sending, that's why if anyone's experiencing shipping delays, it's probably because of that, compounding with a few other things as well. But yeah, big stock levels by mid-November. Black Friday, which is the last Friday of the month in November, which comes directly after Thanksgiving. But what falls really nicely for us this year is Christmas Eve's on a Friday. So what that actually means is we get a period of time, last posting dates are going to be 23rd of December. So because it falls nicely in their weekdays, it doesn't fall over a weekend or anything like that, people have got an opportunity to take advantage and sell right up to the last possible moment at Christmas. And believe me when I say, if you're hanging in there for that last week in December, some of the bundles that we sell go absolutely nuts during that period of time. And in the 2 weeks before Christmas, we can sell as many as we will in the whole of Q4.
Wow.
Just goes nuts. Just goes crazy.
Fantastic. So a lot of opportunity available, but also you're talking about turning products because of the sheer volume of sales. You mentioned a figure there, 8 times. What can people expect as an increase during Q4? And there's some variations on that. Is it across the board or is it certain products?
Well, not all categories or niches are equal on Amazon. Some categories and niches will perform better traditionally in Q4, and it comes down to probably your own expectations. A lot of what we do and the way that we sell on Amazon really does involve getting into the customer mind and thinking about what I would purchase this time of year, or why would I purchase that particular product. And I always say never ignore that gut instinct, because if that's what you're thinking, there's a good chance that lots of other people are thinking that as well. So it is those traditionally gift-giving products that sell really well during the Q4 period. Toys, anything gift-related, beauty, health and personal care, just sporting goods, all these, anything that has that kind of gift connotation. But I think what people also forget during this period of time is it's not like Amazon shuts down selling normal stuff as well. It's all of the other elements as well. So sometimes it can be like spinning lots of different plates, because you want to keep your normal replenishables going because they will sell well. And what can happen during the Q4 period is people sometimes forget about those traditional like grocery products, pots of Bisto or whatever, because Christmas is a really busy time of year for people. So think about the convenience buyers as well, the people that think, do you know what, I've got a lot going on my plate at this time of year, so I don't have time to pop to the shops and get this. So where can I look to find these kind of goods? So making sure that you're keeping your finger in that pie as well. But yeah, gifts, anything with a level of seasonality, definitely. So things that you would buy for yourself during that period of time, and what you would buy for your family and friends. It's Christmas in particular. I mean, we talk about Christmas obviously, but we do have other seasons during the Q4. Seasonal based products like Halloween. All that different type of thing. So it's about finding that balance, but no two categories are the same on Amazon. And I would say, and this is where you probably ask 10 different people, and probably 10 people will give you, a different answer. Definitely the biggest uplift in terms of demand and sales velocity, I would say, would probably go in the toys category and would probably go in the grocery category as well. I say they're pretty even for the terms of what people are searching for during that Christmas period.
Completely agree. And I know this. You still see advent calendars selling all year round. This is just like, what the hell? But hey, it happens. Cool. Okay, so we've understood when Q4 starts, but also actually when the kind of the more busy period of Q4 starts, the actual bit that we really need to be aware of. So obviously today you're joining us to share your top 5 tips about selling on Amazon Q4. So can you share with us what are those top 5 tips that people should think about?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, this year I think is going to be slightly different because of everything that's going on in the world. So my first tip, I would say, is try and be diverse as possible with your shipping options. So what I mean by that is do not put all your eggs in one shipment basket. So, make sure that during the period of time, we all know Amazon lose shipments. We all know things get delayed, things sit on trucks for 2 weeks outside. So make sure that you are breaking your shipments down as opposed to sending in, look at your regularity of shipping. If you're doing one big shipment a week at the moment, maybe try and break that down into 3 different shipments, because if one gets lost, then you're not sat and waiting for that particular shipment to to check in, because we all know what we're like. When you're waiting for a shipment to check in, you're checking it. In this period of time, it can get really frustrating. And with the amount of goods that are coming into Amazon, what I would say is definitely break down those shipments, send them into smaller quantities, so you're mitigating your risk essentially for what goes in. And in the same, vein is if you can, and I know this won't apply to everybody, because lots of people, the reason they get into Amazon FBA is because they want to use Fulfilled by Amazon, facilities, because they live in a flat or they work full time. But if you can diverse your shipping options and look at some self-fulfillment options as well, I think that will be really key this year, especially if you've been struggling with IPI scores or restock limits as well, because there are going to be shortages. And if you can get it in, list it, sell it, flip it before having to wait for it to come in, I think that's gonna really work well for people this year for sure.
Yeah, it's great. I completely agree, and I still, obviously myself, I'm in Mexico, so I can't really do merchant fulfilled. But you can obviously with a prep center. I don't deny that as well. But I really agree, and I think, having spoken to a lot of sellers last year, a lot of they were doing, going down to like a sale, buying the products, merchant fulfilling them, and they were selling them before they even got back home. They were listing them on their phone. It's incredible, that ability to turn that money super quick in this very fast moving time. They were like, quick, turn the car around, go back and buy some more. I've just sold out what I just bought. Crazy, but it just shows you the opportunity available, and those who can adapt obviously really seek to benefit from this time. So fantastic. So diversify shipping, breaking down shipments, look at maybe merchant fulfilled. That's number 1. What's number 2?
Number 2, do not forget about toys this year. I know that has been a real sore subject for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people are skipping out on toys this year, and I do get it. Why make things harder for yourself? Especially when things are constantly changing. We don't know what's going to bring this year. But what we do know is there is going to be a shortage of toys this year for a variety of different reasons, namely those shipping delays and increases and haulage and logistical nightmares and things like that. So we do know that there is going to be a shortage this year. And the other reason I say don't forget about toys is traditionally when people do start selling arbitrage, they go into toys, and we've all experienced it. There's a lot of competition in toys, price tanking, and then, oh my God, all of a sudden Amazon are giving you like a declaration of conformity request. Well, if you think about what I said earlier, during that period of time, the demand for toys can increase massively. So that means that they sell a lot quicker. So don't discount toys because you might be worried about getting a request for declaration of conformity. Well, do you know what? You might have listed it, sent it in and sold out before that request even comes, because there is going to be more of a demand for toys during that period of time, which means they sell quicker. So you don't have to worry about those type of things. So whilst always diversify, I wouldn't ignore them.
Yeah, definitely. It's you said at the very beginning, the toys category is huge in Q4, and I started back in Tesco Direct days 4 years ago. I remember buying lots of Lego. Yeah. I know, the good old days. But the opportunity is amazing, and I think even with the things like declaration of conformities, there's still so much opportunity there. And even I look at my account. I think we looked at the other day. We can have like 2 or 3 requests. It's not as many as you think, and they come and go. So definitely, there's an opportunity to make money there. And if there's one section, and you said it earlier, that's really going to benefit from the Q4 period, it's most likely going to be toys, as in the multiples increasing in sales velocity. So absolutely fantastic. So cool. So number 2, don't forget about toys. What's number 3?
Number 3, I would say is, and this applies whether you're new or, well, it's a bit harder if you're new, but there's a two-pronged kind of approach to this, which is if this is not your first Q4, so you've been through yeah, absolutely. If you've been through a Q4 previously, and we always say this about Amazon, learn to use the data, learn to, all that hard work that you've done before, don't let it go down the toilet as such. It's not, once you've sold it and forgotten about it, go back on what you sold last year. Have a look into, dive into Seller Central. See what sold last year. Is it available this year? Is it something that you can replenish? Was it a seasonal item? Is that going to be coming available again? Have a look at what sold for you last year and see if you can sell it again. It's the lowest hanging fruit that there is. You're not paying for that information. It's free. You've already done the hard work on it. If you've sold it successfully, there's that validation there. You know that it sells for sure. So yeah, let Amazon, you've already done that hard work, just capitalize on it. And then if you are, and this is your first Q4, I would definitely say absorb and learn how to record that data. So definitely, if you've not experienced it before, so you can go back. I'm a firm believer in Amazon grows year on year for a lot of people. So you can use that data next year. It's not something you can use now traditionally, but always having a half an eye on the future is making sure you're recording it and remembering to take advantage of that data this time next year, because softwares are great, they're amazing, they give us so much insight to selling on Amazon, but there really is no truer result than you actually selling the item and seeing it for yourself.
Agreed. That's such a powerful thing, and I think, oh my God, we're all so caught about moving forward. We don't sometimes stop and look back and be like, what's worked? And the saying that I always believe is like, don't reinvent the wheel. Like, you've already invented the wheel a year ago. Just copy it. Like, you know what you're doing. So, honestly, really good. And I completely agree. And I was like, man, I need to do that. I need to really start getting back into the data. Thank you so much. So number 3, use the data from last year. What's number 4?
Maximize profit as much as possible. So this is what we always talk about. It's arbitrage. For me, one of the best benefits of arbitrage for sure is all of the different added cashback options, loyalty bonuses, free products, discounts, all these different types of things. When you go through and you purchase that product, make sure that you're checking, can I find it cheaper anywhere else? Okay, great. No, I can't. Okay, I'm going to buy it from this site. Do they have any additional discounts? Can I get it any cheaper? Okay, no, I can't. I've been through that process. So use your honey, use your pouch, use those discount codes, but make sure you search in Google as well, because there are a lot of hidden discounts on Google, and especially discounts that, might still work, but they don't look like on the outset that they work. So it's always worth spending a couple of minutes searching from there. Mix up your cashback options. So make sure that you're not just using one, use, a few different cashback options, and then how you're buying it. Can you purchase it on a card that's giving you some sort of cashback, accumulative Avios points, and then, all of the different loyalty points as possible, because we spend a lot of money in Q4. It's one of those different types of things. And it's because we traditionally buy from wholesalers now, it's the biggest thing that I miss from traditional arbitrage. And I always kick myself and I get massive FOMO during it when I say, when people say, I paid for my first class flights from Bahamas, for, all the spending that I did in Q4. But when you think about the amount of money that people spend during that Q4, you want to stretch it out as much as possible, whether that's through additional discounts. Don't forget to use those cashback links, guys, because that is just leaving money on the table if you don't do that.
I completely agree. My God. Obviously, I'm still 100% arbitrage, and just the sheer amount of cashback, especially the points just on, we use a Capital on Tap card, and just the amount of points that rack up is you just can't spend them quick enough. But and also because you're spending so much more over Q4, And I know this even from like my time when I was purchasing. It's like, oh my god, good Lego deal, and Tesco Direct back in the day, quick, gotta buy it, and you're like, damn, I should have got the cash back, and I should have checked for that. You can kind of get a bit caught up in the hype of it all, think I need to buy it now, and you're like, slow down, check all these things, because it really adds up, doesn't it? It's not like 1%, you're talking like 10-15% of your thing you're getting back. You're like, wow, this really adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know exactly what you mean, because we do get caught up in the hype. And if you see something, especially if it's on a deal service or a deal sheet, you think, oh my God, I've got to buy it for it. And all logic gets thrown out the window. And then you go back in, because we always check in hindsight, don't we? We all go back in and see what we've missed out on. And then you're like, damn, that weekend they were running a special of 10% cash back. And if you've spent, £1,000, that's £100 in your pocket extra. So, chill out, calm down. And do you know what? Even write yourself a list, even if it's just a 1 to a 7 point list, a checklist. Put it somewhere where you can see it. Cashback. Have I used this card? Have I used my loyalty card? Have I done this? Have I used my discounted gift card? Just give yourself a little checklist to run through and go through each time, because I tell you what, even the most seasoned of sellers can get caught up in it and get caught out at the end of the day.
Fantastic. No, I completely agree. So number 4, maximize profit. And thank you so much. So many good things there. So what is the 5th and the final top tip you share for Q4?
I think for me, and this is more of a mindset one, is to, without, I suppose the best way to say it is, don't get FOMO. Don't compare yourself to other people. I think Facebook communities and Facebook groups and things like that are phenomenal. They help so many people on their journey, but on their Amazon selling journey. But this time of year, you get some people, I call it screenshot season, where people are posting those massive screenshots, and if you are not the type of person that can be motivated by it, and you're maybe just starting out, because people react to things differently, you have to look at your own journey. You can't compare yourself to others, because what you can find yourself doing is almost spiraling down and ending up in a place where I'm never going to be able to do this. But you've just got to remember, they might be in their 6th Q4. They might have Amazon lending that have just given them a £250,000, Amazon loan. They might have different cash flow options to you. They might have different, prep facilities to you. They might have an exclusive deal with a supplier that they got 3 years ago. It's all these different types of things. Please use that for inspiration as opposed to demotivation, because I know what it's like, and I think sometimes people can look at that and they think, how am I ever? It can be really intimidating. And the thing about Amazon is it's such a snowball business. It's a compounding business, and you will get there, but you're on your own journey, and you're the only one that knows that journey. Look for inspiration. Don't let it demotivate you.
Definitely don't compare. I really understand what you say. And you talked about it, 2 things. Amazon is a compounding business. My God, if I look at my journey over the last 4 years, the first 3 years are like, what the hell are you doing, Tom? And then all of a sudden, wow!
Hello, Tom.
And it's so true. It really is. The first 3 years is like, why am I even doing this? And I think I said to people, even 2.5 years in, I was still like, should I just quit this and go get a job? It'd be a lot easier. It is hard, I never deny that. And the other thing I really look at is, my God, whether you see it on Facebook, Instagram, or anywhere else, it's like when people share those pictures, that's their highlight reel. That's something that they're really proud of. No one ever shares their failures. We hide the failures, so you just got to be very mindful of that. When people are doing it, that's their best. So definitely use it as inspiration. Be it it is possible, there is an opportunity, but we're all on our own journey. And my God, we've all been doing it at different times. So it snowballs. I completely agree. So top tip number 5: don't compare. Obviously, don't think about FOMO. So if I just kind of recap, number 1, diversify shipping. And I really agree with that. Look at like breaking down your shipments so things don't get lost in transit or don't get stuck. Look at merchant fulfilled network. You can do quick flips, and I know a lot of people take advantage of that. But number two, don't forget about toys. You said it earlier on today. Toys category is probably going to be the one category that's going to have the biggest uplift versus normal trends, and it's a great opportunity. Even with like the compliance documents, you're still going to be getting massive sales on this. I completely agree. Number three, use the data. So if this is the case, maybe it's your second year, your third year or whatever. Don't reinvent the wheel. You got the data last year. See what sold. Go to Seller Central. Can we buy it again this year? Just do what works. It's so simple. Number four, you talked about maximize profit, cashback credit cards, honey, free products. Don't get kind of caught up in the hype. Oh my God, I need to buy it now. I need to buy it now. No, have that checklist you talked about. And I completely agree. And I've been caught up in the hype too many times. And then finally, number five, don't compare, because everyone's showing the highlight reel. We're all on different journeys. Use it as inspiration. When someone shares that amazing results, that could be you in 2, 3, 4 years time. Right now, we're all on our own journeys. So don't compare to everyone else's. Don't get demotivated. This is such a great opportunity, and we can all, there's so much opportunity. And as you said, Amazon is growing. So 5 top tips there. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Can I add?
Go for it.
Can I add a bonus tip?
Cool.
Because I think those tips are universal. All year, every Q4, you can utilize those tips. Every Q4. This year is going to be a little bit different because some of the shortages that we are expecting. It could be a storm in a teacup. It could be. We could have no shortages or whatever. But what I will say is an extra bonus tip for this Q4, especially if you are an RAer as well, because I think you tend to spot things a little bit more. Things are a bit more visual when you're there in the shop. Don't wait. If you see it, it's available. The data supports that it sells. Get it. And even if you have to be in a Del Boy flat situation where you have boxes stacked up in your house or whatever, even if you have to buy it and sit on it, do it, because I think there are going to be shortages this year for sure. And I think what will happen is it's going to get really dicey in December, where people are really looking for hard to find goods and things like that. And if you have that, whilst I'm not a fan, I'm not a scalper of buying something to sell it at 10 times the cost, kind of intentionally. Never been about that. I do believe in supply and demand for sure. And if you have a commodity that is in demand and you can supply it, then that's why we're in this business at the end of the day. So I'll add that as an extra tip. So if you see it, get it. But also don't be misled by thinking, like I said, it's only going to sell in December. Things are going to kick off, I think, earlier this year, traditionally, because of people's expectations. People know that there's going to be shortages. I was at a party at the weekend and 3 separate people came up to me who know what we do for a living. They came up to me and they said, is it true this year there's going to be a shortage on toys? Because they knew what we were doing. So this is the advice I've been given to people from the other side of the coin. If you know you want it, buy it now. So I think things are going to kick off earlier. So just have a look, get it. If it sells now and you can make great profit on it, flip it, compound the money as much as possible between now and then. But if it's really seasonal and you think that there could be a huge hypey demand for it in December, stack the boxes up.
My God, you're so right. Yeah, definitely. Hey, top tip number 6, extra bonus one. If the data supports it and it's get available now, just buy it. Honestly, the opportunity is there. And I so agree with you. So many people you talked about it earlier, possibly another lockdown. People might, do I have to buy them now? If there is going to be another lockdown, will I have a chance? What's going to happen? So we could see that real Q4. We talk about kind of middle of November. It could start a bit earlier. Could see a ramp up a lot quicker. We just don't know. There is so much opportunity. So fantastic. Any other final top tips and tricks or advice that you might give to someone starting out? Maybe I haven't asked you, I haven't shared. Anything else you think in sharing?
I would say that, do you know what? Just enjoy it. We spend the whole year looking forward to this period of time. I will say that we spend the other 9 months of the year wishing we were in Q4, and then when we're in Q4 we're wishing it comes to an end because it's so knackering. But make sure you absorb it, enjoy it. It's the reason that we do what we do. You can get some really great gains during this period of time, and I think absolutely just enjoy it. If it's your first Q4, just absorb as much as you can. Take as much data, listen to other sellers, absorb as much information, as knowledge as possible, so that you can hit it a bit harder or even harder next year. So everybody, I think, regardless of whether it's your first Q4, your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth, whatever, I think we all learn something new every Q4, and always understand as well that it's never enough. You can always sell more during Q4 for sure.
I know the sheer scale of Amazon and the volume, and we talk about like big sellers. You've interviewed 7-figure sellers, 8-figure sellers, and you're like, in the grand scheme of Amazon, they're still nothing. Amazon's just this huge beast, so it's absolutely crazy. But to us, they're like, wow, they're like so amazing. So honestly, absolutely amazing. So first things first, thank you so much for joining us, and obviously sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and everything you've learned over the last 6 years, and obviously prior to that as well. Question for you: if people are interested and they want to see more about you, learn, listen, and I know obviously you're on YouTube as well. You share a lot of knowledge, a lot of the wisdom that you've learned, and also you interview a lot of people. And today is a role reversal. As you said. How can they find you? Where can we go? How can they do that?
Well, I hang out mostly in the Secret Wealth Project Facebook group. That's where I supply the bulk of the content. So yeah, absolutely. Please come and join the group if you haven't already. But we also do a weekly live where as Tom says, I interview different people, talk to different types of sellers and people about Amazon businesses, Amazon services, all these different things. And that's called Never Mind the Buybox, which Tom has very kindly given me shout outs beforehand. So I really appreciate that. And we do that live on a Tuesday, 7 o'clock without fail, every single week, and we just talk everything Amazon, and it's more a case of keeping people updated with the latest Amazon going ons, and just in a really sort of casual format.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's no time like the present, definitely. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and obviously getting yourself ready for the Q4 period. And obviously you're selling already and so much else going on. But thank you so much. And everyone watching, from me and everyone watching, thank you so much for your time. And I think, Natalie, from me and you, everyone watching, thank you so much for spending the time to watch this video. Really appreciate it. If you have liked it, give us a big thumbs up. Obviously, do check out Natalie's channel, and I'll probably put a link around here to that so you can see that as well. But from everyone here, thank you, Natalie, so much, and obviously take care, and I look forward to hearing about the success in Q4. Maybe we can have a follow-up in Q1 period.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.